Hi, I'm Josh Lebow. Welcome to my first post in my new attempt at video education. This is not really my home turf, but I'm going to give it a shot. So, you probably found me maybe through joshlebow.com. If not, check out my site, joshlebow.com, JOSHLEBOW. It has a bunch of information, tell you a little bit more about me, what I do, where I come from, but I just wanted to take this opportunity on this first journal post here to talk a little bit about the heart of what I do. Something I teach I call SAFE, okay? S-A-F-E, which stands for Stabilizing Abdominal Function Exercise. Stabilizing being the most misinterpreted word here because I don't necessarily believe a human being should be stable. We're really born to move, but we do have to manage the forces of instability constantly. So learning how to basically keep your body together through this ever-changing environment, right? Without being stable, buildings are stable. It's not really what I think most of you out there are looking to be. That would be very large and very dense and very stable. I'm not sure. Maybe. It's not my job, though. I'm not going to get you there. So my job is to help you move, because life is movement, and the longer we can move, the longer and more beautifully we can stay alive. So, stabilizing abdominal function exercise, SAFE. All it really is a meme. Okay? I just want you to be able to think to yourself on a regular basis, am I safe? I'm thinking it to myself as I talk to you now, am I safe? I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that means, but it has to do with your abdominal wall controlling and maintaining a balance between your pelvis and your rib cage, because they're these two giant parts throughout almost anything you do, right? So our abdominal wall here has to maintain some kind of control as you move around through the world, as you do things as simple as breathing, moving your arms and moving your legs. And in essence, that's all SAFE is. It's a basic lesson plan to teach you how to maintain a stable environment or a functional environment when you breathe, when you move your arms and move your legs, so that just those activities of breathing and moving your limbs don't sort of pull you out completely of your ability to hold yourself together efficiently. So it's really all SAFE is. Someone said to me once, they said, oh, here's another method. I know a lot of methods. Pilates, yoga, you name it. There's so many techniques from Feldenkrais. You name the myriad of ways to kind of talk about the body, and there's a lot of methods. He says, is this another method? I said, absolutely not. And by the end of our conversation, or by the end of our session, he could see exactly what I'm talking about. This is not another method. This is basically just what is in almost all those methods. All of these teachers sort of had this within there. Nothing new. I'm not going to tell anyone anything new. And anyone who really knows what's going on with the body just knows this. This is obvious. I didn't invent anything. I'm not teaching anything brand new here. I'm just sort of shining the light on one of these giant missing pieces, which happens to be most of the people that step in front of me. I would say about 95% don't efficiently get enough air out of their rib cage to internally rotate it enough to maintain enough lift in the upper spine to decompress and stay balanced. And they say compressed and tight. You wonder why their low back hurts when every breath they tighten it. More on it in a second. So the whole goal is to kind of see what we've been missing in some of these movements. And I have yoga teachers that on a regular basis tell me, I just missed that little piece, whether it's on holding yourself together on the inhale. Most people have the exhale, or they think they have the exhale pretty well, but what you'll notice is getting these ribs to actually fully decompress and round. Okay, so once you've learned the SAFE position, you're going to learn to use that in exercise everywhere. So it's not just about learning to kind of bring your abs on or doing some exercise to be safe, like to practicing a SAFE level 1 or a SAFE level 2. I've got 4 or 5 levels to this sort of practice lesson exercise, but that's not the point at all. The point is to be able to get into your, say, deadlift posture and stay safe. To be able to get all the way down to the ground without losing your rib cage and pelvic control, by using your abdominal wall to keep you where you belong through the whole movement, so that from top here, instead of bowing out and being hyperextended, being able to keep yourself together right in this position, keeping yourself together all the way down through the bottom. And you notice you won't get that butt wink. You'll keep yourself in a much more stable, safe position for loading and lifting, right? So when this is on, your body's together. So that's kind of what I found is like when people start putting this into their routines, not only do they get much more progress in their efforts, but they don't get hurt. So not only do the loads go up or their speeds go up or their skills go up, but they don't get hurt, which is really nice not to get hurt. I have people say things to me like, oh, you know, I don't have back pain anymore. Or if I get back pain, I have total control of that. People who are always worried that my back feels like glass. Just sort of learning to change that, to gain control over it. And that's the essence of what I want to teach. And so teaching people this meme, teaching people this idea and this way of finding it to be safe is proven time and time again to be one of the most successful things I've ever done. Not only for controlling injuries, but for loosening tension throughout the body. And as we go further and as you practice a little more with me, you'll see it's like doing releases where you're breathing all the way out and really releasing that diaphragm and getting the air out of your body. The only great way to stretch the diaphragm will change hamstring length, hip flexor length, shoulder lat length. Everything in the body starts to change when you start attacking some of these more central, more important neurologically tight muscles. So quickly, to just kind of give you an idea of some of the ways I see things and then go over what the safe position is, I like to say that kind of like people love to think good posture is this and they stand up as straight as possible, right? And this is just overextension, right? So people will respond to this. See, I see this right here. People see this and they say, oh, you're slouched, or you're yes, it's sort of slouched, but I see overextension. See, I see this. I see this forcefully bent with the spine, but I don't actually see rib cage internal rotation, right? Because if I have rib cage internal rotation, I'm not going to need to force myself into some abnormal bend, right? So people are using their spine to abnormally bend their rib cage so they can put their diaphragm in a position to breathe, but more on that later. That's a whole other topic, right? But I love to talk about the topic of geriatrics and how walking over like this, we've got all these people who are actually standing up way too straight to breathe. So they bend over to make the diaphragm in a better position. Mechanically advantage the diaphragm this way and see if they can breathe. But if we actually learn to breathe out, stretch the diaphragm, get it to relax, get it to unwind itself so that it can recontract, can't tell you how many things will change. So safe is all about, and I teach this on many different levels, but a quick review. I'm basically using my abdominal wall, not my rectus abdominis, not the big central one, but these obliques, especially the internal oblique and that deep transversus, and this sort of it's a big diamond, right? The shape of these muscles all the way down to my pubic symphysis, out to my pelvis out here and out to my lower ribs and sternum, right? And what's going to happen is as these muscles kind of contract gently down, they're going to bring my rib cage closer toward my back pockets, right into there, and my pelvis up, sort of stretching my low back. And then I'm keeping my spine straight and tall against it. I'm not letting my spine pull me down, but I'm standing straight with my spine, bringing the rib cage down, letting my shoulders relax into a position. I'm not throwing my shoulders back. I'm throwing my rib cage sort of forward. Yes, I'm throwing my rib cage forward. I'm actually flexing my rib cage. I'm taking a person who thinks they're like this and telling them to learn to bend their rib cage. It's very interesting. So SAFE has this whole bring yourself together here so that you can stretch and lengthen back here and get this nice sort of lineup right here. So body can go from being extended to being together. I like to have my abs just functional enough to lift my 6-year-old up in the air and throw him anytime. I want to be able to do that when he's 10, when he's 12. I don't really care about how much weight I can lift. I care about how functional I can hold my body through some of these movements. And when I hold it like this, I have pain. When I bring it gently into alignment, life is a lot better. Doing that just breathing, because I'm not overworking. So I can't wait to share more of how this works. I can't wait to educate more of you on how to control your back pain. So if you have anything to say to me, drop me a line, drop me a question, and I'll be glad to answer you. Once again, joshlebow.com. Thanks for listening.